Welcome back, everyone. Today we're diving deep into the fascinating world of numismatics with an incredible story about the 1950 USA Wheat Penny, a coin that holds a staggering face value of $9 million and has captured the attention of collectors and enthusiasts worldwide. This coin isn't just a piece of metal, it's a symbol of history, rarity, and the mysteries behind minting errors and limited production that make it one of the most sought-after wheat pennies in American history. To understand why the 1950 Wheat Penny commands such an extraordinary value, we need to start with the background of the Wheat Penny series itself. These coins, officially known as Lincoln Wheat Cents, were minted from 1909 to 1958, featuring the iconic image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and two stalks of wheat on the reverse, symbolizing prosperity and agricultural heritage. The 1950 issue, in particular, falls toward the latter part of this series, produced in the post-World War II era when the U.S. Mint was experimenting with new dyes, materials, and quality control processes. What sets the 1950 Wheat Penny apart from millions of other pennies minted that year is the presence of rare errors and varieties that have elevated its status from a common collectible to a numismatic treasure. Among these errors are double dyes, off-center strikes, and unique die cracks that collectors prize highly. The 1950 Wheat Penny minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco each have subtle differences that experts pore over to identify the rarest and most valuable specimens. One of the key factors driving the $9 million valuation is the extremely limited number of surviving era coins in pristine condition. Many pennies from that era circulated widely, suffering wear and tear, which reduces their value drastically. However, a handful of 1950 wheat pennies with mint errors have survived with exceptional detail, sharpness, and uncirculated condition, making them incredibly rare. These coins often come from mint sets or hoards that were stored away for decades, escaping the hands of the general public. In addition to the physical condition, provenance plays a significant role in enhancing the value of these coins. Coins with documented history, linked to famous collections or discovered in noteworthy circumstances, often command premiums at auction. For example, a 1950 wheat penny with a rare double die obverse that was found in an old family collection and certified by top grading agencies recently sold for millions, pushing the price of similar coins even higher. Another captivating aspect of the 1950 wheat penny story involves the technological and industrial context of its production. Post-war America saw changes in metal composition and minting technology, which inadvertently led to variations in coin strikes. For instance, the copper used in these pennies sometimes had impurities or slight composition changes that affected the way the die struck the coin's surface. This phenomenon resulted in the formation of anomalies such as double dies or die cracks that today are viewed as unique signatures of the era. Beyond the mint errors, the 1950 wheat penny is also an emblem of cultural and historical significance. Abraham Lincoln's portrait, crafted by Victor David Brenner, was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the centennial of Lincoln's birth. Over 4 decades later, these pennies continued to circulate, reminding Americans of their heritage through everyday currency. Collecting wheat pennies thus isn't just about monetary value but about preserving a tangible link to the past. The 1950 wheat penny's extraordinary price tag also highlights the broader trends in the numismatic market, where rarity, demand, and historical intrigue combine to push values into the millions. Collectors today are not only interested in common coins but are increasingly hunting for those with story and scarcity. The 1950 wheat penny perfectly encapsulates this because it offers a blend of historical importance, scarcity due to mint errors, and a tangible connection to a pivotal era in U.S. history. Many experts predict that as awareness grows and more collectors seek these rare pennies, prices will continue to rise, making it a smart investment as well as a cherished collectible. Another interesting angle is the intense competition among collectors and investors. Auctions for these pennies often attract high-profile bidders, including private collectors, museums, and even investment funds focusing on rare coins. The excitement around each sale drives the hype and contributes to the escalating values. When a 1950 wheat penny with a notable error enters the market, it becomes headline news in numismatic circles, adding to its legendary status. If you are a budding collector, Understanding the key identifying features of the 1950 wheat penny can open doors to discovering hidden treasures in your own coin collections or at local coin shops and estate sales. Knowledge about specific mint marks, die varieties, and signs of errors can help you spot valuable pieces that others might overlook. Moreover, learning about proper grading and certification can ensure you protect your investment and get the best price if you decide to sell. The journey of the 1950 wheat penny from a simple coin to a multimillion-dollar collectible also reflects how the stories behind objects can transform their worth. It teaches us that value is not just intrinsic but also contextual, driven by history, rarity, and human fascination with the extraordinary. So next time you hold a penny in your hand, remember that it might be more than just spare change. It could be a key to a rich and captivating story. As we wrap up this deep dive into the 1950 wheat penny, don't forget to like and subscribe for more amazing stories from the world of rare coins and collectibles. Your support helps us bring you the latest and most exciting content, exploring treasures hidden in everyday objects. Thanks for watching, and keep hunting for those rare coins because you never know when you might find a piece of history worth millions. Next, today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of coin collecting with a special focus on one of the most coveted and historically significant coins in American numismatics, the 1952 wheat penny. This small copper coin, minted in Denver, holds a face value of just 1 cent, yet it is valued by collectors at an astonishing $3 million, making it one of the most valuable pennies in the history of the United States. But what exactly makes this seemingly ordinary coin so incredibly valuable? What are the unique factors that contribute to its rarity and desirability among collectors? The story of the 1952 wheat penny is steeped in both historical context and numismatic intrigue. To understand why this penny commands such a hefty price tag, we first need to explore the era in which it was minted. The 1950s were a period of post-war economic growth and transformation in the United States, yet the production of pennies was already starting to see changes in composition and design that would influence their rarity decades later. The 1952 wheat penny features the classic wheat design on its reverse side, which was produced from 1909 through 1958, making it part of a beloved series among collectors. However, unlike most pennies from that era, the 1952 penny has a significant rarity caused by errors and limited production runs, which make it a prized find today. One of the primary reasons this penny is worth so much is because of the extremely low surviving population of specimens in mint condition. While millions of pennies were produced in 1952, only a small fraction escaped the wear and tear of everyday use, and an even smaller number display the mint mark, D, from the Denver Mint combined with exceptional grading conditions. This rarity in high-grade coins is what drives the market value up exponentially. Another crucial aspect to consider is the minting errors associated with this particular year and mint location. Some 1952 pennies show striking die cracks, doubled dies, or off-center strikes that have become highly collectible due to their uniqueness and the story they tell about the minting process. Coin collectors often seek out these errors because they represent a tangible connection to the manufacturing anomalies that can transform a common coin into a rare artifact. Moreover, the historical significance of the wheat penny series itself plays an essential role. This design was the last to feature the wheat stalks on the reverse before the transition to the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959. Many collectors view the wheat penny as a symbol of Americana and a bridge between early 20th century coinage and modern numismatics. The 1952 penny, being from the later years of the series, captures that transitional moment, and thus holds a sentimental value beyond just its rarity. Market trends have also influenced the valuation of this coin. Over the past few decades, as coin collecting has gained popularity and investors look for alternative assets, rare coins like the 1952 wheat penny have seen their prices surge dramatically. Auction records show that pennies with exceptional grade or notable errors can fetch millions of dollars, especially when sold to passionate collectors or through high-profile sales. This trend is partly fueled by the growing interest in tangible assets and the preservation of history in a physical form. Condition and grading are critical when it comes to the 1952 Wheat Penny. Coins graded by professional services such as the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, receive an official assessment of their condition, which ranges from poor to perfect mint state. The highest grades, such as MS65 and above, are extremely rare for pennies this old due to their delicate nature and the tendency to corrode or be damaged over time. When a 1952 Wheat penny is graded at this level, it can command extraordinary sums at auction, explaining how some specimens have sold for around $3 million. Another factor that adds to the mystique and value of this coin is its cultural presence. The Wheat Penny, including the 1952 version, has been featured in movies, literature, and even in folklore as a symbol of luck, prosperity, and American heritage. This cultural resonance helps maintain public interest and demand, which are essential components in any collectibles market. For those who might wonder how to identify an authentic 1952 Wheat penny, there are several key points to keep in mind. The coin features the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, facing right, with the date 1952 just to the right of his bust. The mint mark, D, appears just below the date on the right side, indicating it was struck in Denver. The reverse side prominently displays two stylized wheat stalks flanking the words 1 cent and United States of America. Collectors also look carefully for any mint errors, such as doubled dies, die cracks, or off-center strikes, which can add considerable value. It's important to note that due to the high value of these coins, counterfeits and replicas have unfortunately made their way into the market. Anyone looking to purchase a 1952 Wheat penny should seek coins that come with certification from reputable grading services and consult with experienced numismatists to verify authenticity. The coin's provenance, its history of ownership, and how it was preserved can also play a significant role in its valuation. In addition to mint condition and errors, provenance can elevate a coin's desirability and worth. From a historical perspective, the 1952 Wheat penny reflects the end of an era and the beginning of a new chapter in U.S. coinage. Following its production, the Lincoln penny saw a design overhaul, and copper usage in coins gradually diminished due to rising metal costs and technological changes. This makes surviving wheat pennies even more treasured as relics of a bygone minting period. Looking forward, the 1952 Wheat penny's value is likely to remain strong or even increase as more collectors enter the market, and as older coins become scarcer due to natural loss and deterioration. Coins like this also serve as investments and legacy pieces that collectors pass down through generations. Beyond monetary value, they provide a physical connection to American history, economy, and craftsmanship. For those intrigued by coin collecting, the 1952 Wheat penny represents both a challenge and a treasure, a coin that tells a story far greater than its face value. Whether you are a seasoned numismatist or a curious newcomer, understanding the significance and the factors driving the value of this penny can deepen your appreciation for the hobby and the history it preserves. If you happen to own one of these pennies or come across one, it's definitely worth having it professionally evaluated. As the market continues to evolve and collectors become more knowledgeable, the demand for rare and historically significant coins like the 1952 Wheat penny is unlikely to wane. So keep your eyes peeled in change jars, coin collections, and estate sales. You might just find a piece of history worth millions. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive into the fascinating world of the 1952 Wheat penny, a coin that, while small and humble, holds a mighty place in the annals of American numismatics and history. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel for more exciting content on rare coins and collectibles, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Your support means the world and helps us bring you the best stories behind these incredible pieces of history. Until next time, keep collecting and treasure those coins. Next. Today, we are diving deep into the fascinating world of rare coins, focusing on one of the most sought-after and valuable pennies in American numismatics, the 1944 Wheat penny. This particular coin, often whispered about in collector circles and auction houses, can command a staggering value of up to $1.6 million under the right conditions, and the reasons why are as intriguing as the coin itself. So if you are a coin enthusiast, history buff, or just curious about how such a humble copper penny can become a multi-million-dollar treasure, stick around as we explore the errors, mistakes, and unique features that make the 1944 Wheat Penny an absolute legend in the numismatic world. The 1944 Wheat Penny was minted during a pivotal time in history, right in the middle of World War II. At that time, the United States was fully mobilized for war, and many metals were rationed or redirected to support the war effort. Notably, copper, which was traditionally used in pennies, was in high demand for military equipment and ammunition, leading the U.S. Mint to experiment with alternative compositions for the penny in 1943. That year, pennies were made primarily from zinc-coated steel to conserve copper. However, in 1944, the Mint returned to using copper but primarily recycled shell casings left over from wartime artillery, which meant the pennies from that year were mostly made of brass or bronze alloys rather than pure copper. So where does the value and rarity of the 1944 Wheat Penny come into play? It revolves largely around minting errors and accidental mixtures of metals, leading to some coins that are incredibly rare and valuable. One of the most famous and highly prized versions is the 1944 steel penny. These were pennies mistakenly struck on leftover 1943 steel planchets instead of the intended copper alloy. Because steel pennies were officially only minted in 1943, any steel penny dated 1944 is considered a major error and extremely rare. The reason for this mistake traces back to the transition period in the Mint when leftover steel planchets were accidentally fed into the coining presses with the 1944 dies. These coins are magnetic, unlike typical copper pennies, and their unexpected composition makes them a fascinating collector's item. The scarcity of the 1944 steel penny comes from the fact that only a very limited number of these error coins entered circulation or survived, making them highly sought after at auctions. They have been known to fetch prices as high as $1.6 million, depending on their condition and provenance. Another factor contributing to the 1944 Wheat Penny's value lies in the quality and rarity of certain die varieties and mint marks. The 1944 pennies were minted at 3 facilities: Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, D, and San Francisco, S. Certain die errors and anomalies, such as doubled dies, repunched mint marks, or off-center strikes from these mints can drastically increase a coin's value. For example, a 1944 D penny with a repunched mint mark (RPM) error can be worth thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars to collectors. These errors occur when the mint mark is stamped more than once in slightly different positions, resulting in a shadowed or doubled appearance. The wheat penny design itself, with its iconic wheat stalks on the reverse, was produced from 1909 to 1958 and is beloved for its classic Americana look. The 1944 version represents a poignant moment in American history, symbolizing perseverance during wartime. Because of the coin's historical significance, collectors are willing to pay a premium for authentic, well-preserved specimens, especially those with errors or in mint condition. The condition of the coin, as with any collectible, plays a crucial role in its value. Grading services such as PCGS and NGC assess coins on a scale from poor to perfect mint state, and a 1944 wheat penny with rare errors that also grades in the mint state range can see astronomical values, pushing prices into the millions. Conversely, common circulated examples tend to be worth only a few cents or dollars, so condition and provenance are everything. Beyond the steel planchet error, there are other notable mistakes that can make a 1944 wheat penny valuable. These include struck-through errors where foreign material or grease was stuck on the die during minting, causing missing or distorted features on the coin, or die cracks which show up as raised lines on the coin's surface due to die damage. Sometimes these errors are subtle and require magnification to detect, but when they do occur on a rare date like 1944, they greatly enhance the coin's worth. Another fascinating aspect is the story of how some 1944 pennies were struck on leftover 1943 copper planchets, which is the reverse of the steel error story. The 1943 copper penny is another legendary rarity, but occasionally 1944 pennies appear with unusual coloration or metal composition indicating they were struck on old planchets from the previous year, creating unique collector interest and value. The possibility that a 1944 wheat penny may contain traces of wartime metal recycling adds to the coin's mystique. Since many pennies were made from recycled shell casings, each coin can be seen as a tiny piece of history, carrying with it the essence of the nation's wartime effort. Collectors treasure this tangible link to the past, which also supports the coin's high value. Market demand for the 1944 wheat penny, especially those with errors or in exceptional condition, remains strong due to both its historical context and the allure of rare numismatic mistakes. Auction results over the past decades consistently show rising prices for these coins, particularly the 1944 steel penny and varieties with die errors or mint mark anomalies. Enthusiasts and investors alike are drawn to these coins as both collectibles and as long-term stores of value. It's important to be cautious, though, as the market for such high-value coins also attracts counterfeits and altered coins. Authenticity verification by trusted grading companies is essential to ensure that the coin you have or are considering buying is genuine. The 1944 wheat penny's combination of historical significance, rarity caused by mint errors, condition sensitivity, and the exciting stories behind its metal composition all contribute to its potential to reach the $1.6 million mark in value. Whether you are a seasoned collector or a curious newcomer, understanding these factors helps appreciate why this little penny can command such a fortune. So, whether you've inherited an old coin collection, found a penny that looks a little different, or are simply fascinated by the intersection of history and collectibles, the 1944 wheat penny stands as a shining example of how small errors and historical circumstances can create incredible value. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of the 1944 wheat penny and want to keep exploring amazing stories about rare coins, errors, and their worth, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more fascinating content like this. Thanks for watching, and keep your eyes open. The next valuable penny could be hiding right in your pocket. Next, now we dive deep into the fascinating world of rare coins and uncover the secrets behind their incredible values. Today, we are going to explore the story of the 1951 wheat penny, a coin that has captivated collectors and investors alike, boasting a staggering value of around $7 million due to its unique errors and mistakes that set it apart from the typical pennies you might find in circulation. The 1951 wheat penny, minted in San Francisco, is part of the iconic wheat cent series which was produced by the United States Mint from 1909 until 1958. This series is beloved for its distinctive wheat ears on the reverse side and the portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, making it one of the most recognized and collected coin designs in American numismatics. However, what elevates the 1951 wheat penny to such extraordinary value is not merely its age or design, but the presence of very rare and specific minting errors and variations that have intrigued collectors for decades. One of the primary reasons this coin commands such a high price is the existence of a striking double die error on the obverse side. In numismatic terms, a double die occurs during the minting process when the die itself, which stamps the coin's design onto the blank metal planchet, is accidentally struck twice in misaligned positions, causing certain design elements such as letters or numbers to appear doubled. On the 1951 wheat penny, this double die effect manifests noticeably on the inscriptions, Liberty, and the date, 1951, where you can see a clear doubling that is not present on normal coins. This doubling creates a visually dramatic effect, highly sought after because it is extremely rare and difficult to find in high-quality condition, especially in mint state grades. What makes this error so significant is the combination of its scarcity and the fact that it was caused by a very early and uncorrected mistake in the minting process, making these coins precious snapshots of a minting anomaly that was soon fixed in later production runs. Moreover, the 1951 wheat penny with double die error often comes with an additional subtle but highly valued characteristic known as a repunched mint mark. The mint mark, S, indicating the San Francisco Mint, was occasionally punched more than once into the die in slightly different positions, causing a layered or shadowed effect visible under magnification. Collectors prize these repunched mint marks, RPMs, as they reflect manual corrections or adjustments made by mint workers, which further adds to the uniqueness and desirability of these pennies. Together, the double die and repunched mint mark create a coin that is visually stunning and historically rich, encapsulating the fascinating human element of coin production and the occasional imperfections that turn everyday currency into rare treasures. Another factor contributing to the immense value of the 1951 Wheat penny is the condition in which surviving specimens are found. Like most coins, the condition, graded by experts on a scale from poor to perfect mint state, is a huge determinant of value. Because this coin is more than 70 years old, many examples have been heavily circulated, worn down, and damaged, which reduces their appeal to collectors. However, a small number of these era coins have survived in remarkably high grades, showing crisp details, clear doubling, and strong luster, making them far more valuable than their worn counterparts. The rarity of these high-grade era coins drives prices into the multi-million-dollar range, especially when verified and certified by professional grading services such as PCGS or NGC. The market for era coins like the 1951 Wheat penny has expanded tremendously over the years, as collectors increasingly appreciate the fascinating story behind these anomalies and the dramatic visual effects they display. Era coins, by their very nature, break from the norm and highlight the fallibility and artistry involved in minting. They serve as unique historical artifacts and are often the centerpiece of any serious coin collection. Beyond the well-known double die and repunched mint mark errors, the 1951 Wheat penny also sometimes exhibits other rarer mistakes, such as die cracks, struck through grease marks, or off-center strikes. Die cracks occur when the metal die used to stamp the coin develops fractures, which then transfer raised lines or irregularities onto the coin's surface, giving it a distinctive textured pattern. While generally seen as damage, die cracks on certain coins can actually increase collector interest and value, especially when they are prominent and unusual. Struck-through grease errors happen when excess grease or debris on the die causes parts of the design to be missing or distorted, while off-center strikes occur when the coin blank is not perfectly aligned during striking, resulting in a portion of the design being cut off. These types of errors, though less dramatic than the double die, add to the diversity of collectible variations within the 1951 Wheat penny series. In terms of history, the 1951 Wheat penny was minted during a transitional era in American coinage, just a few years before the wheat cent design was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial Reverse in 1959. This was a period marked by high demand for coins due to post-war economic growth and increased everyday use, which sometimes led to hurried or imperfect minting processes that contributed to the errors we see today. The San Francisco Mint, responsible for producing the 1951 penny, was known for high-quality craftsmanship but also produced several notable era coins during the mid-20th century, adding to the prestige and intrigue of coins bearing the S mint mark. Another dimension to the coin's value is the story of how some of these era coins were discovered. Often found by lucky collectors who stumbled upon them in rolls of pennies or old coin collections, the excitement and surprise of uncovering a genuine double die 1951 Wheat penny have fueled a collector frenzy. Stories abound of individuals who casually found these pennies while sorting change, only to realize they held a coin worth millions. Such tales add a human narrative to the technical details and help the coin capture the imagination of numismatists worldwide. The combination of rarity, visual appeal, historical context, and captivating discovery stories all culminate to make the 1951 Wheat penny one of the most valuable and sought-after coins in the Wheat penny series and American numismatics in general. When evaluating these coins for investment or collection, experts recommend a close examination using magnification to identify the double die and repunched mint mark features, along with verification from professional grading services to authenticate and grade the coin's condition. Market values can fluctuate depending on demand, but the rarity and uniqueness of these era coins maintain their appeal even during shifts in collector interest. In conclusion, the 1951 Wheat penny's worth of approximately $7 million is justified by its remarkable minting errors, primarily the double die and repunched mint mark, combined with its scarcity, condition, and place in American coin history. This coin serves as a testament to the unexpected value that can arise from human imperfection and mechanical mishaps in the minting process, transforming an everyday penny into a priceless treasure. Collectors and investors alike are drawn to the 1951 Wheat Penny for its rich story, rarity, and undeniable visual allure, making it a crown jewel for anyone passionate about numismatics. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the most valuable era coins in U.S. history, be sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on our future explorations into the fascinating world of rare coins and their incredible stories. Last. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating and valuable coins in American numismatic history, the 1944 Wheat Penny, a seemingly simple penny that can be worth a staggering $2 million or more due to its unique errors and rare mistakes. This is a story of intrigue, minting mishaps, and historical quirks that have elevated a common coin into an extraordinary treasure for collectors worldwide. So buckle up and get ready to explore why this particular penny commands such an incredible value, and the fascinating details behind the errors and anomalies that make it so coveted. The 1944 Wheat Penny was minted during a time of great global upheaval. World War II was ongoing, and the United States was focusing its resources heavily on the war effort. Copper, a critical metal used in pennies, was redirected to military needs, which led the U.S. Mint to change the composition of pennies from the usual 95% copper to primarily zinc-coated steel for the years 1943. However, in 1944, the Mint returned to using copper, but with a twist. Most 1944 pennies were made from recycled shell casings, which gave the coin a unique metallic makeup. Most 1944 pennies are plentiful and relatively inexpensive, but the ones that command millions in value are those that were minted with errors, particularly those that contain steel rather than copper or that have other striking anomalies. The reason behind this lies in the transitional nature of the minting process during the war years. Due to the metal shortages and the recycling of materials, some 1944 pennies accidentally were struck on the wrong planchets, specifically, steel planchets left over from 1943. A 1944 penny struck on a steel planchet would look very different from the usual copper coin. It would have a silver-gray appearance and magnetic properties unlike the normal reddish-brown 1944 pennies. These steel-struck 1944 pennies are extraordinarily rare and sought after by collectors. Their rarity comes from the fact that steel planchets were supposed to have been used only in 1943, but some remained in the mint machinery and were accidentally struck with 1944 dies. This cross-year error is one of the reasons the coin's value skyrockets, as the mint itself tried to avoid such mistakes, and they were corrected quickly. Besides the steel planchet error, other types of errors make certain 1944 pennies highly valuable. Among these are double die errors, where the coin's design was stamped twice slightly off register, causing parts of the image or letters to appear doubled. Collectors prize these for their unique visual quirks and rarity. Die cracks and cuds, small raised bumps or breaks caused by the deterioration of the dies used to strike the coins, are also present on some 1944 pennies, adding to their uniqueness and desirability. What really adds to the value of these pennies is the rarity combined with the historical context and condition. A 1944 wheat penny that is perfectly preserved, with a rare minting error such as the steel planchet, is extremely valuable because it's one of the few coins that directly tell a story about the wartime minting practices and the challenges faced during that era. Additionally, some 1944 pennies were struck with off-center errors, where the coin's design is not perfectly centered on the planchet, resulting in partial or incomplete designs. These error coins are rare and can fetch high prices from collectors who seek such unusual varieties. Another fascinating error variety from 1944 is the 1944 double die obverse, which shows clear doubling of the inscriptions and date on the coin's front face. This type of error is the result of the die itself being improperly manufactured or damaged, leading to the doubling effect. Coins with this kind of error are much rarer than the standard 1944 wheat pennies, further adding to their collectible value. The process of making pennies in 1944 was more complex than it may seem. involving multiple steps of die creation, planchet preparation, and striking, each with the potential for mistakes. When these mistakes occur, they create what numismatists call error coins, and such errors can be anything from minor die cracks to major planchet mistakes like the steel strike. In particular, the steel-struck 1944 penny error is so rare that only a handful are known to exist in the world, making it extremely valuable to collectors and investors. The value of such an error coin is not just from its rarity, but also from the story it tells about American history during the 1940s and the pressures on the U.S. Mint during World War II. It is worth noting that not all 1944 steel pennies are genuine, as some unscrupulous collectors or counterfeiters have attempted to create fake steel pennies by altering copper pennies or plating steel coins. Therefore, verifying the authenticity of a 1944 steel penny is crucial and typically requires expert evaluation using magnetism tests, weight measurements, and close visual inspections of the coin's surface and die characteristics. Beyond the steel planchet error, other factors that add to the value of a 1944 wheat penny include its mint mark, which indicates where the coin was struck. The three primary mints producing pennies in 1944 were Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, D mint mark, and San Francisco, S mint mark. Coins from certain mints, especially in error varieties or in extremely high grades, can be more valuable due to their relative scarcity or collector demand. For example, a 1944 D steel penny is even rarer than its Philadelphia counterpart, thus pushing its market value even higher. The market for 1944 wheat pennies is very active, and auction records show that error coins from this year can easily reach six-figure or seven-figure prices when authenticated and presented in excellent condition. Collectors and investors are drawn to these coins not only because of their monetary worth but also because they represent a tangible connection to a pivotal moment in American history when the country was mobilizing all its resources for a global conflict. Additionally, the story behind the 1944 penny error coins includes a fascinating subplot involving the mint's quality control and manufacturing process. The United States Mint, headquartered in Philadelphia but with branches in Denver and San Francisco, was under immense pressure to produce large volumes of coinage while maintaining quality standards. The accidental use of steel planchets from 1943 and 1944 coins indicates a rare lapse in quality control but also reflects the intense pace and urgency of wartime production. Collectors value the coins with these errors not only for their rarity but also as physical evidence of the mint's history and the broader economic circumstances of the era. The 1944 wheat penny's design also plays a role in its appeal. Featuring the iconic wheat stalks on the reverse side, symbolizing agricultural prosperity, and the profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, it is a coin that carries symbolic weight beyond just its material value. For numismatists, the Wheat Penny series represents an important chapter in U.S. coinage history, and the 1944 issue stands out for the exceptional stories told by its error coins. In recent years, the value of error coins like the 1944 steel penny has been driven even higher by increased interest in coin collecting, the rise of numismatic investment, and the role of media in popularizing rare coins. Auction houses specializing in rare coins have seen fierce bidding wars over such pennies, with collectors eager to own a piece of history that is both beautiful and incredibly rare. In summary, the 1944 wheat penny's value, especially when it comes to those with errors and mistakes, can reach astronomical levels, including the $2 million mark, due to a combination of rarity, historical significance, the nature of the errors themselves, particularly the steel planchet strikes and double die anomalies, and the overall condition and provenance of the coin. The coin stands as a symbol of the wartime economy, the challenges faced by the U.S. Mint, and the enduring fascination with numismatic errors that turn everyday objects into priceless treasures. Whether you are a seasoned collector, an investor, or simply a history enthusiast, the 1944 wheat penny with its remarkable errors offers a captivating glimpse into the past and an exciting opportunity to own a rare piece of American heritage. If you ever come across a 1944 wheat penny that looks off in color or features unusual doubling or off-center striking, it could very well be one of these rare error coins worth a fortune. So always check your pennies carefully. Thanks for sticking around and joining me on this detailed exploration of the 1944 Wheat Penny's incredible value and the errors that make it so special. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the world of rare coins, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on our latest numismatic adventures. Until next time, keep hunting for those rare finds and enjoy the fascinating stories behind every coin.